Okay, so a statistics question about the median and the interquartile range, and I recommend strongly that you use a piece of paper to help you. Use the edge of a bit of rough bit of paper to help you read off the values. So first of all, let's do the median bit. So we've got 60 people have had their times recorded, waiting times, and of course we want the median, the middle person. We were looking for the 30th person, and I reckon the answer is 22.5 minutes, but I'm going to show you how I did it. I put a sort of like a piece of paper on up to the 30, and I saw where it hits. I put the corner on the bit where it hits the graph, going along 30 and going down, and I reckon that's about 22 and a half. I counted from the 25 minutes backwards, and I think it's 25, 24, 23, 22.5. And that's what I think is the median. Okay, and they let you have a little bit of leeway, but if you use this bit of paper, I think it helps quite a lot. Okay, so now we've got to find the interquartile range, and the interquartile, you can think of quarters. What is a quarter and what is 3/4 of 60? Well, the interquartile range is the upper quartile, Q3, which is the 3/4 value, take away the first quarter value. The upper quartile means I have to work out 3/4 of 60. In other words, I want the 45th person's waiting time. How long did the 45th person wait? And the lower quartile is the 15th person. So to do that, I'm going to do the same trick again. I'm going to get a bit of paper and I'm going to put it onto my graph, and I'm going to read off the 45th person, and so until it hits the graph and comes down, and it looks to me about 28.5. So you might disagree with that, but for me it's about 28.5. And so now I need to start thinking about finding the lower quartile. So just record what I found so far. The upper quartile, 28.5. The same trick, paper trick for the lower quartile, so I'm putting it on the 15th person, which looks to me like about 16.5 minutes. The difference between the two is the interquartile range. That's 12 minutes, which means that half of the people were seen in this range of 12 minutes. Okay. Right, so for the last bit, we're going to have to compare, and there's two marks. That means we need to compare two things, and we've already worked out two things, haven't we? We've worked out the median and the interquartile range for Hospital A, and they've given it for Hospital B. So the obvious thing to do is to compare both. So write down Hospital A and B's median waiting times, the average waiting times, and make that comparison. Say which one's bigger than which. So I'm going to write the full sentences, but that's what I'm going to be doing. And then after I've finished that sentence, I'm going to write a second sentence comparing the interquartile range of Hospital A and B and saying which one is longer, which one is shorter. Okay, that's to guarantee you're going to get your 2 marks. And remember, the median is an average, so I'm allowed to use the word average. So the average waiting time in Hospital A appears to be shorter, doesn't it? Okay, I think that's only going to get me 1 mark so far though, so I need to also compare the interquartile range. So here I go. So the interquartile range in Hospital A, and that was 12 minutes, I think, which means that 50% of the customers in the hospital were waiting for between the 15th and 45th person, there's a 12-minute gap. Whereas in Hospital B, they've got a 19-minute gap. So the 15th person and the 45th person have a 19-minute difference in their waiting times. Okay, so I've made those two comparisons. Let's look at the mark scheme and we can see we've got into the range. They always give you a little bit of leeway either side. 22.5 is what I had, which is in okay. So it looks like they think it's 23. It looks to me, but we're okay. And of course, we also need to compare the IQR values, and they're expecting 12, which is good. We've got that exactly. And you had to make 2 comparisons, yes.